What's going on, everyone? My name is Scott. Welcome back to Central Hub. This evening, I'm going to be discussing a fragrance that is great for this time of season, for the fall weather here. And the one that I'm going to be speaking of for today's video is going to be Robert Graham Valour. So this fragrance I've had probably for 2.5, 3 years now. And I purchased this at a rack store. I actually purchased this at Marshalls. Fortunately, I love this fragrance. This is such an amazing smelling fragrance and very gentlemanly, masculine smelling fragrance at that. I've worn it probably a handful of times. As you can see, I have a good amount of fragrances behind me here. So to get to wear each fragrance, I don't get to wear them as many times as if I had a smaller collection here. But my collection keeps growing. Yeah, we're gonna get into the smell here now and tell you what I think. So let's put a fresh spray on the wrist or the forearm here. Okay. I definitely get sweetness off the top, but it's herbal. It's like an herbal sweetness coming off the top. I get some herbs. Off the top, I definitely get an anise smell, such as like black licorice. I'm not a huge fan of black licorice, but in this composition of this fragrance, it's actually done pretty well, and it actually works for what they're going for. It's definitely got some greenness and herbalness to this fragrance. I really do find that to be true. It's definitely got an aromatic touch, for sure on the top. It's definitely masculine. This is supposed to be a coffee-based fragrance, and you will smell the coffee notes as this dries down a little more. But off the top, you get a little bit of the coffee, but a lot of the kind of like the anise, black licorice type of vibe with some herbal green notes to it. This fragrance can honestly be worn any time of the year, but I think for the cooler weather and the temperatures that this fragrance will work best. So yeah, Robert Graham Valour here, they did a great job on this fragrance, I will say. This is really well blended, and there's no synthetic harshness or anything as you begin the smelling from the initial spray right when you put it on. So it's really well blended here, and it just gets more classy and masculine, a little bit of powderiness as the mid and dry down comes along. You definitely are left with the sweetness as well throughout the fragrance there is, but it's also aromatic at the same time. So it's got the aromatic sweetness, herbal greenness. Definitely get a coffee-esque aroma out of this fragrance. So now what I'm going to do, like I said, I really do like this fragrance. This is a nice fragrance. I give it a thumbs up. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go over to either Parfumo or Fragrantica, probably Parfumo, and see if this fragrance is on there. Okay. So this fragrance was released in 2016. It's considered a spicy, woody fragrance. I mean, the woods do come into play as a dry down. As the time goes on, and the dry down is what you're left with. There's definitely some woodiness, but I get some powderiness, and I still get the sweetness. And there's definitely spices in here, but it might be some of the anise. I mean, that might be giving some of the spiciness to it that I'm smelling. The fragrance notes in this composition are Brazilian coffee, amberwood, and clary sage. See, the clary sage is definitely giving it the greenness and some spiciness to this fragrance. But that coffee I believe is giving some sweetness, and the amberwood is what's giving it probably a sweetness. There's more in this fragrance than what the note breakdown is on the website here. So they don't give you the whole breakdown. I mean, you might smell other things in fragrances that might not be in a note breakdown. But like I said, I'm still learning the notes of the fragrances, and I can't tell you exactly all the notes that I'm smelling in this composition because there's a lot going on. More so than I believe the notes on Parfumo are leading to. This is starting to dry down a little more. I'm getting a little more powderiness to this fragrance. I feel like the anise that I was smelling off the top, the black licorice smell, has definitely faded. And the sweetness has come out more. So, the sweetness and really the herbs are coming out. So that clary sage is really becoming prominent now at this point. This is a really well done composition. In Fragrantica, and this is what it says on Fragrantica. According to the bar chart, amber is the most prominent main accords in this fragrance, then coffee. Then it's saying it's an aromatic, herbal, soft spicy, and warm spicy. So I'm getting the herbs for sure. It's definitely aromatic. And I'd smell the amber. The sweetness in it is coming probably from the amber. And according to Seasons to Wear This per Fragrantica, it's saying that fall and winter are the best times to wear this. And more leaning towards night times in the fall and winter compared to daytime. But honestly, this fragrance can be worn day or night. It's it's a unique fragrance. Like, you're not going to smell a lot of fragrances that are like this out that I've smelled, at least. You will definitely be unique. It's not overpowering that you're going to choke anyone out. I mean, just put a couple sprays, maybe 3 to 4 sprays. Yeah, so that's about it on Fragrantica here and Parfumo that I checked here with the fragrance notes and breakdown. But anyways, my final thoughts on this. This is a really, really good fragrance. I'm surprised I haven't worn this more than I have. Like I said, I've probably worn it a handful of times or so. And as you can see, I mean, there's not much of a dent. I mean, there's a little bit, but it's not too much. I mean, there's still a lot in here. This is a 3.4 ounce, I believe. I believe it's a 3.4. But this is a great fragrance. And, you know, if you ever see it out there, or if you're more interested, I'd try a sample of this before purchasing a full bottle. These are not the cheapest fragrances that you will find. I bought this at the rack store at Marshall's for probably, I think it was $39.99. So at the time, that was a great deal on this. That really was. And you probably won't find this for $40 now, for $40 about right now. It's probably going to go into 50 to 60 and up for this one, but it's a really quality fragrance, and it's almost niche-like. It's like it smells like a higher designer niche-like fragrance because it is unique, and a lot of niche fragrances are going to smell quite unique. They're not going to be the most mass appealing fragrances, but this one's borderline niche, but it leans more definitely for designer. And really, you could wear this any time of day. I've worn this in the summer, actually, too, in the spring, summer, all year round. I mean, for work setting in a controlled climate, this stuff works pretty well. And this is a nice, classy fragrance. And like I said, it's coffee-based fragrance. But yeah, so that's my thoughts on Robert Graham's Valour. And until next time, If you could like, possibly comment, subscribe, that'd be great. I'd really appreciate that. And there will be more content to follow in the future here.